What's up, Space Monkeys? Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm your host, Robert Durden, and this is kind of a goofy episode. I'm going to have some fun with it. As I reported earlier, Caitlyn Jenner is now running for the governorship in California, and Matthew Mcconaughey is teasing running for governor in Texas. So I want to ask the question to you guys. Do you think that the United States is moving towards a place where we're so Hollywoodized and everything is so based on how to entertain yourself in this society? Are we moving towards a time where we have celebrities running everything? Like, are they going to become politicians now? I think we kind of are. And it's sad to say, and it's a really sad state of affairs, but I think Trump proved that not only can you run knowing nothing about politics, but it might actually help you. In the book I just reviewed by Edward Bernays, Propaganda, they talk about when a certain sect of society, if they become too sleazy or they rely on propaganda and bullshit too much, eventually they become notable because of their sleaziness, like used car salesmen or what have you. Politicians is one of them. So I think we're at the point now where people are willing to roll the dice on people that they've seen in movies or celebrities of other types that they know kind of a little bit about them because of their celebrity, and roll the dice on those people versus somebody who is corrupt, who's a career politician. And I think that actually might be where we're going. So that's a sad state of affairs. It also is hilarious to me that we have some of these people running for office because it shows how cartoonish this country really is, and really exemplifies how Americans have become more or less a satire of themselves. So this episode is about, if this is where we're going, guys, I have my power rankings, my top 10 celebrities who I think should run for office, that I think have lefty and progressive ideology and have what it takes to actually get elected for a governorship or even president. So I don't know everything about all these people. It's not exactly clear, because they're not always talking politics. So some of these people I just put on there because they happen to be pro Bernie. But number 10 and number 9 are both very, very pro Bernie. They both opened for Bernie, and they're both comedians. So I would love to see them in debates. Is Sarah Silverman and Seth MacFarlane. They're both huge Bernie bros, and again, guys, in a society where the debates are going to become more like roasts as we go forward, I think it helps you to have a good speaking voice and to be able to more or less roast people, but also know substance. So you could teach these guys, if they don't already know a lot about, I'm sure since they like Bernie, they know plenty of his platform, but you could teach these people politics, and Sarah Silverman and Seth MacFarlane would be just bodying people left and right during debates. Seth MacFarlane has a wonderful speaking voice. Sarah does too. They would absolutely be great to run for office, and I think their heads are on straight, as far as I know anyway, but mostly I put them in there because they're Bernie bros. Number 8 is Sean Penn. Sean Penn, he's an actor. He's been in a couple things like I Am Sam, Milk, which is based on Harvey Milk's life. There's some other, Mystic River. He's a little bit older. He used to be married to Madonna back in the day. But he's well known for doing humanitarian work. He went and did a whole bunch of work in Haiti after the earthquake, and he was vehemently and publicly outspoken against the war in Iraq, where he basically trashed Dick Cheney and George W. Bush publicly. So I think he's got his head on straight. He looks the part, and he seems to actually care. He's also got a close relationship where he interviewed Raul Chavez, I believe, in Cuba, and he's got a close personal relationship with some of the higher-ups in Venezuela, socialists. So I like Sean Penn. He could absolutely do it, and he looks the part. I don't know how he'd be in debates or how much substance he knows about politics, but he seems to actually give a shit about, changing things, and he is outspoken against the horrible nature of the United States system right now, so he could do it. Number 7 would be Rose McGowan, and I don't think she would. I don't think she should run because she knows a lot about politics. I would just love to see her run because if you know anything, Rose McGowan was in Charmed, a show with Alyssa Milano back in the day, and she's been one of those people who has been calling out frauds in the Me Too movement, and she has a leg to stand on because she was, I believe, had a run-in with Harvey Weinstein back in the day, and Alyssa Milano, who was on the show with her, was huge into the Me Too movement, and she was like vehemently outspoken against Harvey Weinstein and other Republicans who are really, really gross and sexually harass and rape women. But then she was famously like silent when asked about Joe Biden and his incident with Tara Reid. So Rose McGowan called out Alyssa Milano hardcore, and she for that incident, but also calls out anybody else that's a fraud in the Me Too movement. And she's like, have you seen any interviews with her? She absolutely hates the establishment. So she wouldn't win, but I'd love to see her run just because it'd be hilarious for her to trash other, sex criminals that are in office right now. It'd be nice to have somebody that's in there that's willing to tell the truth on stuff like that. Number 6 is Jon Stewart. Used to run The Daily Show, has a background in politics that way, so he actually understands politics the way that, I would. As best you can, not actually being in politics. And again, he would be wonderful in debates. He seems more left-wing, although I give it to you, he probably is more neoliberal on a lot of things. But he did a good job, like, forcing Congress to, like, pay out on all of those first responders for 9/11, because a lot of those people weren't given health insurance, even though they had, like, lingering, issues from all the asbestos and cleaning up the remains of 9/11. So Jon Stewart pushed for that by himself and got all of those people compensation. So I know his head's in the right place and his heart's in the right place. I think if people could sit him down and give him some progressive policies to run on, he would absolutely do it, and I think he could be convinced of a lot of progressive ideology. Jon Stewart, and of course, he looks the part. He could do well in debates. People know who he is, and you can't use the card against Jon Stewart. Well, you don't know anything about politics. Bull crap. He knows way more about politics than Trump did. And so Jon Stewart could run. I just don't know exactly how he feels on certain progressive policy. Number 5 is the corpse of George Carlin. And I know what you're thinking. Rob, you can't run a corpse for office. Tell that to Joe Biden. He just ran, and he's president now, and he's a corpse. Number 4 is Mark Ruffalo. You guys know him from the Avengers movies, and he's a huge Bernie bro. The best thing that you could do as Mark Ruffalo, I'm convinced, is run for the Green Party, because he's the Hulk. And he could be like, get it? Your slogan could be, you won't like the Hulk when he's angry, and run for the Green Party. I would love to see Mark Ruffalo run. And that would be the way I would do it, because he is definitely like, he wants climate change legislation. He absolutely loves Bernie's platform, which is why he opened for a lot of his rallies and was a huge Bernie bro and always has been. I would love to see him in there. He's an Avenger. Like, who he is. He's got a huge national profile. He's very pacifist. He has a good speaking voice. He's even handsome. He looks the part. So I'd love to see him run. If not for president, then run for governor or Congress position or whatever. Number 3 is Susan Sarandon. Again, a huge Bernie bro, but she seems to have more political acumen than some of these other people, where she gets really vocal on Twitter, and she does a good job understanding the policy and trying to relay it to normal people. And she seems to have a lot of righteous indignation for the establishment. And again, she's old enough where she looks the part. I imagine she'd be good in debates. But who knows? At least her head and her heart are in the right place, and she has a national profile to do so. And she's been arguing about these things online for years now, so I think she would be great for it. Number 2, Justin Jackson. He is a running back for the Chargers, and he does the Takedown, or the Takeover YouTube show. He knows more than anybody on this list, without a doubt. The only issue I would have is that he's not famous enough to do it. Like, his YouTube channel is something like 12,000 subscribers. That's good. He just started. That's fine. It's going to get bigger. But he doesn't have the national profile that some of these other people do. But in a debate, no one would be better than him. no one on this list would be better than Justin Jackson. And given a few years, I absolutely hope he does run for Congress. He could absolutely do it and eventually work his way up. He is like me. He's so angry about the establishment that I trust him to go in there and do the right thing. And you can't bribe somebody that has enough money to live. Like, Justin's got enough money to not have to worry about anything for the rest of his life. He's a pro athlete. I trust him to go in there and not be bribable. So he would be great in every aspect. The only issue is that I don't think he does. I don't think he has the profile to run right now. But give him time. He's a juggernaut. He could absolutely be president one day, and I'd vote for him. No matter what he does, I'll vote for him. Number 1 is Jesse Ventura. He checks all of my boxes in this area. So he's got the national profile. He's the right age. We know he can debate and talk because he's been on RT for the longest time. I don't agree with everything that Jesse says, but he knows what's going on and he understands the corrupt nature of the capitalist system we have. And he's been outspoken against, of course, anything that has to do with like war, particularly torture. He's got a head on his shoulders. And he used to be an actor. People know who he is. He gives that tough guy persona, which a lot of people gravitate to, and many people went to Donald Trump simply because he gave off that vibe. So, Jesse Ventura's got to be a number 1 overall seed. He can do anything you need him to do, and he's already got the national profile. He's got the right ideology. I don't think he's going to go in there and sell out. If he cared about money and selling out, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing right now. He's got plenty of money. He was a wrestler, actor. That's the type of people that people in America vote for nowadays. So Jesse Ventura has to be number 1 overall. That's my top 10 right there. Notable mentions are anybody from Seth Rogen's crew, because I think that they would go in there and certainly, first day, legalize marijuana. And I think that some of those guys, like Seth Rogen himself, they kind of know what's up. I don't know what their political leanings are, but I'd love to see them go in there and do that. Same thing for, like, Snoop Dogg. You can guarantee you that Snoop Dogg's going to get some things done. He's going to legalize weed. He's going to end the prison industrial complex. He's going to deal with police brutality. Snoop don't give a fuck on those things. He would absolutely go in there and change those things, even if he knows nothing else about policy. Honorable mention for Snoop. LeBron James, same thing. National profile is big enough to do so. And I trust him to go in there and not be bribable because he cares about the right things now, and he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He might be a billionaire one day, and he still seems to care about the right things, and you can trust him to go in there and deal with the things, especially that are inequalities for minorities. You can trust him to go in there and do it. DiCaprio, he's got he's the environmental guy, right? I read that he did a lot of work and donated a lot of money and started a bunch of organizations to help fight climate change. He looks the part, absolutely. People will vote for DiCaprio just because they know he's a good actor. And he's handsome, and he has everything you would want as a celebrity, although I don't know what he thinks on a lot of other things other than the environment. But that alone, and his national profile, I'd still vote for him over Joe Biden, And then, of course, Bill Hicks's corpse. Since we're talking about reanimating certain people's corpses, like George Carlin, Bill Hicks he's a comedian back in the day. He died young. He would definitely do well. And again, I'd still take Bill Hicks's corpse in a debate over Joe Biden. So that's what I've got for you guys here. I don't think that a lot of these people are going to actually run for office. We might get lucky and get Jesse Ventura and Justin Jackson to do it. Even if that's all that ever happened, I would be happy with that. But this is where we're going, unfortunately. This country is ultra Hollywoodized, super dependent on entertainment and that dopamine and serotonin rush when you're watching certain things in politics now. You have to have it be entertaining. Trump opened the door for that. That's where we're going. I'm sorry to say that that's the way things are, but the old school way of doing politics with decorum and talking in a certain cadence that sounds like Barack Obama or some of these other Republicans that are so obviously practiced, those days are over. And people that already have a national profile have a built-in advantage when it comes to running for office. So like Caitlyn Jenner knows shit about doing anything in politics, but she's gonna give Gavin Newsom a run for his money because people know who Caitlyn Jenner is, right? Schwarzenegger was already governor in California for a while there. Knew nothing about politics, was just a celebrity. Jesse Ventura, even though I like him, he definitely got the governorship in Minnesota because he was a celebrity. And now we got Matthew McConaughey running in Texas. This is kind of where we're going, guys. We're going to have, like, Will Smith running, or Angelina Jolie, or whatever. I don't know who's going to run. But if I have a choice, Jesse Ventura, Susan Sarandon, Justin Jackson, Mark Ruffalo, or the corpse of George Carlin or Bill Hicks, these are some good people to consider running in the future. So keep fighting the good fight out there. Hopefully that didn't get too goofy for you. Love you guys. I'll see you later.